Hello and welcome. It is Halloween night and this is the D to the R. Unfortunately, my movie night / film night has been put on hold. I had a copyright issue, so I've had to delete the video. And I will be trying to do the video again and hopefully avoid any copyright issues. So tonight we are going to just go through a few films that I kind of think would make a good movie selection for a Halloween movie night, if that makes sense. And they're all kind of horrors, nothing too... I suppose a few are quite scary. It depends. The bar for being scary now is set quite high, so there might be viewers out there that find the films that I put forward not very scary at all. Others might have a different point of view, but I hope you all enjoy. So let the night begin. So kicking off this Halloween night, which is replacing movie night, I will be putting forward the first film I have chosen, and it is a zombie film. I watched it recently and I did actually think about doing a movie review on this film, so I'm going to put the image up that I've selected and see if you can guess what the film is. This is a clip from the movie. It might not be the best shot I've ever took, I will admit, but I watched this film the other night. I believe it was last Friday. Really enjoyed it. It is up there with probably one of the better zombie films I've saw. Let me know in the comments if you can guess what movie it is. No, I'm only joking. The movie is World War Z, starring Brad Pitt, from I believe 2013. Fantastic film, really enjoyed it. There is a little thing though I noticed when watching the film. The little boy, the young lad they rescue, his family are living in the tower block and they take him in to get away from the hordes of zombies. When Brad Pitt and his family leave, you hear the banging on the door. The zombies obviously know there's people there, and then miraculously the little boy appears by Brad Pitt and he saves him. They get in the helicopter and fly off, and there is a shot where the first zombie out of the door chasing Brad Pitt as he heads towards the helicopter is actually the boy's father, who's been turned into a zombie. Now, as the film goes on, if you've watched the film, you learn that the infected only infect healthy bodies. They don't infect people who are sick and ill, and this is highlighted in little segments throughout the film. Now, I want to know if the little boy had some illness that stopped him being infected, because everyone else in his family, his mum, his dad and that, all seem to have been attacked, and the little boy managed to get from his flat to Brad Pitt when he was being chased by a horde of zombies without once being attacked or bitten. So was he suffering from an illness which made him immune to the virus? Was that like subtly hidden in there? I don't know. But I noticed it when I watched it the other night. First time watching it and actually noticing that little detail. I don't know if anyone's ever spotted it before, but let me know what you think. Moving on to our next little horror film, which I think is a staple, especially on Halloween night. Let's see if you can guess the film from this screenshot I've took. This is the screenshot. The film was released in 1978. If anyone does know the film, let me know in the comments. Actually, I'm just going to tell you, it is the man himself, Mr. Myers, from the film Halloween. Absolute classic. I know they've done a few more up-to-date modern ones, but I do prefer the original from 1978. And I think if you're going to talk about having a movie marathon on Halloween night, this has got to be up there, at least in your top 5. Moving to our third film. Now this one is a classic. Well, I think Halloween's a classic as well. But this one, for me, is a brilliant film to watch around Halloween because it has the horror aspect, but there's also a hint of comedy to it as well. And I'm ashamed to say that I didn't watch this film till I was probably in my mid-20s, purely because every time I tried to watch it, I'd get distracted, or for some reason, I wouldn't see it from start to finish. And then I finally sat down and watched it all the way through and thought it was brilliant. So let's see what the third film is. Now, by looking at just this photo, would anyone be able to guess what the film is called? It is from 1987. And I believe in the picture we have, I believe his name is Kiefer Sutherland and Jamie Gertz, who are on the motorcycle. It also stars Alex Winter from Bill and Ted and Corey Feldman, who was in Goonies and also in Stand By Me. Here's more of a spookier and more terrifying image. It is the film Lost Boys, a vampire classic, and got quite a good soundtrack to it as well. From when I watched it, was it last Halloween? We did a bit of a movie marathon, and this is one of the films we watched, and I'd forgot just how good the soundtrack was to it. But yes, I've put this in the movies to watch on Halloween night to mix it up. So we've had zombies in World War Z, the serial killer that is Michael Myers, and now the vampires, just to round it off, in Lost Boys. And you get a little bit of comedy as well in there, so it's not too intense. Moving on to the next film on the list of movies to watch or movie marathons to have, I think this one is probably a favourite of most, and at some point I think everyone has watched this film and enjoyed it, I hope. I definitely enjoyed it. There is two, but there's been many versions. And without further ado, let's see if people recognise the film. Yes, it is The Addams Family from 1991. Now, there was two. You had Addams Family and Addams Family Values. And I believe this is from the first one. I took a quick screenshot from the trailer I found on YouTube. And it's light-hearted, it's funny, bit of comedy, and it's got a really good cast. So in this picture we have Christopher Lloyd, who is playing Uncle Fester, and many people might know him from the movie franchise Back to the Future. And playing Wednesday Addams is Christiana Ricci, I think that's how you say it. I might have got that wrong. And she also starred in the TV series also called Wednesday Addams, which is on Netflix, which I think is a fantastic series if you're a big fan of the Addams Family. And to round off the episode of Halloween night with a spooky spectacular, another light-hearted and fun to watch, but yet a little bit spooky and a touch scary, should I say, depending on what you find scary. Last film of the evening, without further ado, can you all guess what the movie is? I do think this little fella here should have had a rather larger role, but if you've not guessed the film, maybe now. The franchise has come back. They have released a new era of the film, which is Ghostbusters from 1984. Starring Bill Murray, Harold Ramses, Dan Aykroyd, Rick Moranis, and Ernie Hudson, and also Sigourney Weaver. In this absolute 80s classic, Ghostbusters. Also, I did enjoy Ghostbusters 2 as well. That is another one that you could add to the list, maybe do back to back. A bit like the Addams Family as well. You could watch those back to back as well. So, I hope you've all enjoyed this Halloween night. It wasn't intended, but I think it's gone quite well. We've had a few good films. I could keep going, but obviously there's only so many films you can watch in one evening, and I think we've covered a half decent selection there. We've had a few scary ones and a few milder ones with a little bit of comedy, a little bit of humour as well, to keep everyone entertained and occupied on the night of Halloween. Hope you all have a great night, and I'll see you all again soon.